Hi, everybody, and welcome to this special Christmas live event where we're gonna talk about Christmas and the challenges that come with it. Being abroad, being an expat, or being an immigrant abroad can be pretty challenging this time of the year. So I want to cover this with you guys, and I'm gonna ask Zara and Isabel to join me. They've been on the podcast before. They're like coaches, and we're gonna cover all these challenges and everything that counts with it. So just give me a second and I'm gonna ask them to join in. Okay, they're joining in. Hi, Zara. Oh, hi, Isabel.
Hi. Hi.
How are you guys going?
Pretty good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yes, excited to join.
Sweet. I'm glad you guys were able to join me. So I was just saying at the beginning, I want to talk about like Christmas and this time of the year because we discussed this before. It could be pretty challenging to be an expat or to be an immigrant abroad this time of the year. We're gonna cover why and the challenges with you guys. Do you want to maybe start with a short introduction about who you are? Maybe start with you, Zara.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an immigrant myself, and right now I live in Canada, and I am a mindset coach working with immigrants and helping them to build a confidence and a passion-led business.
Sweet. And your turn, Isabel.
Yes, well, the same. I'm an immigrant myself as well. I'm originally from Uruguay, but I'm living in Dublin at the moment for the last 4 years. And yes, in the last years, have been also studying life coaching, yoga, meditation, and I'm working on my own self-development journey and getting help to others as well in their journeys.
Sweet. And that's exactly why I wanted you guys to be part of this live event because you are coaches yourself, you are immigrants, so you know what the challenges are to be in this kind of situation and how to overcome these challenges. So that's why I want to help the listeners there maybe are thinking of moving abroad, knowing that this is part of what it means to be an immigrant or like probably like a solo immigrant. Because if you are moving with the family, it might be different, but as a solo immigrant, these are the challenges. And if you just move abroad and thinking that if you're going through this time and it's particularly challenging, you're not alone. That's just a normal, it's a situation for many of us. But let's start with maybe with an icebreaker question because we are at the end of 2021 and it's been two interesting couple of years. So icebreaker question. 2020 or 2021, which was the most challenging year for you guys? You, Zara?
Ooh, I didn't know I have to choose because they're both very challenging. But I think 2020 was the tougher one for me. Yeah, I think when we went on the lockdown and things just kind of turned 180, I think that was the part when I actually started thinking about, well, what's next? And I started having the thoughts that I never had before in a good way, right? Thinking about a bit more existential of like, what's the purpose of this life? And also things like, appreciating small things too. So 2020 was definitely difficult. It was the first year that I was away from my family entirely, so I didn't get a chance to see them at all. And that definitely added to it.
This is the thing, right? Because 2021, everything was different. Everything started to change and we started living a life so much different from the previous year. But then there's 2021. There's been another year, or maybe for many of us, away from the family. So there's like both years that have their own challenges. I want to hear from you though, Isabel. What was the worst year or the most challenging year?
It's really hard to choose. So I think the difference mainly that at least for me in 2020 I was not expecting all that changes. So it was more the uncertainty and like yeah, the unexpected of the situation because I don't think nobody saw a global pandemic coming. And so it was super challenging because of that. You didn't know what was going to happen, and like it was such, everything was changing. I think the challenge from this year, at least for me, is that maybe this year we already knew what was the situation, but if that the challenge would be like, oh my God, when is this ending? Like it's never ending. At least from my side, that's what I have found hard this year. We jump into 2021 knowing that what that was the world. But yes, that sensation of maybe not knowing, like, would it ever end? Will things go back to normal, or there is new normal, or
Yeah.
all those questions.
Absolutely. That was the hope for many of us at the beginning of 2021. Like this is going to be the end. 2021 is going to like set like an end to like this weird and random situation. But we still are right into it. But things are, at least from my perspective, are getting better. At least we start socializing with people that 2020 was not the case. And yeah, let's now move to Christmas because as we discussed before, this could be the most challenging time of the year. And mostly because the correct me if I'm wrong, or add more challenges for you guys. But for me, was the most challenging part of it is because we are most of us are away from the family, and there's something about Christmas that we have some kind of like a social expectation also to be with the family. If you know other people around us, other family around us, they spend Christmas with the family. If you watch like Christmas movies and all of that stuff, it's all about being with the family, be with the people that you love and all that stuff. So that could be one of the challenges of being abroad and not be able to maybe spend the Christmas with your family. And also there's, if you want to go and visit your family, there's another challenge, which is that get way more expensive travel during the Christmas time. So that's adds another layer. If you even if you want to go and see your family, it can be challenging or just makes like a more expensive something to do. And if you can't go to see your family, maybe you want to spend it with your friends, but your friends are in your situation because for many of us, we just surround ourselves with people in a similar situation. So another expat or other immigrants. And many of them, they might even go back home for Christmas to see their family. So you found yourself in a spot where you don't have the friends that your social like gathering that you usually hang out with. Maybe they're not being around. So all of this challenging adds up and creates like this kind of situation where it can be tough or can be challenging for some of us to go through. And I don't know, I want to hear from you. But first of all, I'd like to ask you, what's your situation right now? Is it for you, is important to celebrate Christmas or not really? Zara?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, Christmas has always been this family gathering, one table, and I have a big family, so my family gatherings would be like 30, 40 people. It's almost like a mini wedding every Christmas. And it was a big deal. And as a kid, I was looking forward to it. And even when I've grown up, it was still a tradition that we kept going. So now I'm here in Canada. My family is back in Ukraine. Some of it is in Armenia. So we're scattered all over the world, and it's much harder to get together. So now knowing that this is the situation, I can't unfortunately go, it definitely brings up some emotions in there and some frustrations in there. It comes with the challenges, like you said, with the struggles, especially if you are relying on your friends to be here or on some people you're hoping to spend Christmas. It turns out they're going home. You really end up being in this situation of not knowing what to do next, and all of that piles up, and you end up having a bit of a frustration. So you know whether it's the situation that we're in today and whether it's going to change next year or not, I think it's a challenge that I want to take as a something that hopefully is a one-time thing, right? Like I want to think that next year is going to be different, and that's what gives me hope for next time we have that big gathering.
So you do usually go back home for Christmas?
Yeah, I would usually go back home, or my parents or my family members, some of them would come visit me in Canada. Yeah.
Okay. And this year is the first year that you are not spending with your family, or is that the second?
That's second year.
Okay.
It's been about 2.5 years that I haven't seen my parents. So
Yeah.
it's getting there.
Yeah. How about you, Isabel?
Yeah, so I'm lucky this year because I will be able to go for New Year's Eve. So I will spend Christmas here with my boyfriend family who is from here, and then I will go to Uruguay this year. But yeah, in the 4 years that I've been here, sometimes I can go and sometimes I cannot because, as you were saying, like tickets get really expensive, and so sometimes I can make it, and sometimes other years I had to go for other events, so I couldn't actually afford going twice. And it's indeed really hard a moment to be abroad and to be separate from your family because it's something that at least in Christian countries we have been raised with that idea that it's a family gathering, and it doesn't feel like Christmas whenever I'm not with my family. Um, but yes, I think I can understand how people abroad can struggle in this moment of the year.
Oh, absolutely. And what for you guys was the most challenging part of it? I mean, we discussed being away from the family and all that stuff. Are there any other challenges that this time of the year bring or added to the other challenges of being abroad? Zara?
I think it's just the hassle, right? Of just pre-holidays hassle that you go through. You kind of try to wrap up things at work. You're trying to find the gifts for your friends in this case. And you're also sort of thinking, like, I had thoughts of, like, should I book a ticket? Should I not? Should I go? Should I not? So there was a lot of conversation I was having with myself, sort of researching for tickets just in case I can go, and talking to my family, maybe they can come. And all those conversations, they're draining, right? Because you're planning, and then in the snap of things don't happen because we just actually went on a lockdown again in Toronto. Um, so I think that was also that uncertainty and the wanting to do something but not being able to, and an uncertainty and planning things. That was that was another challenge for me here.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. How about you, Isabel?
Yes, it's definitely tricky part of the year as you need to wrap everything, even at work. I work in finance as well, so everything has to be done by year end. So I think it's a month that a lot of people is stressed. You can feel it in the street. Everything is crowded at this moment, and so that adds more difficult. Um, More challenges as well. I think particularly mine is always the family what is more challenging because not only not being there, but also like I think it's a moment that we all use to express how much we love people as well, to give gifts, to celebrate the end of the year. So like I found that tricky as well, not being able to express my loved ones how much I appreciate them.
Hmm. And I just want to add another side of the coin, which is probably mine is slightly different from yours, because I don't really care about much celebrating Christmas with the family. Even when I was in Italy with my family, wasn't really I wasn't really looking forward to spend the Christmas with my family. I love them, but there's something I'm not really that into Christmas with the family and all of that stuff. So even though I don't really care about that, but I feel like a social obligation, kind of you have to be or to do something Christmas, especially for my mom. I don't know if my mom is watching right now. She's probably she was coming online, and but she doesn't understand English, so I can say whatever I want. But the pressure I can see from her, like because like being alone for Christmas for her is a big deal. Like, Daniel, are you okay? Being alone and all that stuff. For me, the challenge is to prove to my mom that I'm okay. I'm okay. To not be worried. So for me, that's the challenging of like being away from the family, just to prove my mom mostly that I'm okay. I'm a big boy. I can do it. And also because I have a nephew and nieces, like even just being there in a way for them, like sending them presents and kind of being celebrating Christmas with them. That might be the challenging because yeah, family, if you don't see them for Christmas, you can see another time of the year. It's not that big of a deal for me, but the kids, not being with the kids, not celebrating or not seeing their face when they open the gift that you gave them and all of that stuff, even send them gifts can be challenging. I mean, we have Amazon now, it's so much easier, but still, it can be challenging just to find the right present, get it in time, and all of that kind of thing. So I just wanted to add my personal challenges to the table and see what you guys think, and just to give another perspective to the watchers or the people that are watching or that are listening to this later on, just to have another, I don't know, experience or point of view of the Christmas time and other challenges. And what do you guys do, or what do you guys your plan to overcome these kind of challenges for Christmas? Or do you guys have anything that you are now used to or to do, or the things that you, I don't know, now do for Christmas because you can't, I mean, especially you are the second year that you are not be able to spend with your family. Do you have something that now you have in place to overcome this kind of challenging time of the year?
Yeah, so I have a couple of things actually, and I'm trying to do some things this year too, new ones. Last year, what I did, it was a lot of reaching out to just the community, if community of friends, just a community of people, even on Facebook, people I don't know. Like I would just go and message in the community and say, hey, who wants to maybe go grab a hot chocolate, go to the Christmas market together, and we would get together. And yes, it's not the whole Christmas celebration, but you still feel like you're socializing, like you're saying, it's a big part of the social aspect of it in Christmas. So that helped me a lot, and I did that last year, planning to do it this year as well. And then also because I have this like coaching spiritual side of me, there is a part of me that says I want to be grateful for all the moments that I had with my family prior to this, right? And I want to think about those moments. I want to cherish those moments and honor what happened and just have those memories now in me, even though I can't be there now. But me feeling more gratitude towards those moments and memories, it just kind of fills me up. It gives me that hope again. It gives me belief that it's going to happen again. And then suddenly I'm sort of connected to my family in a different way, not physically, but energetically. I'm connecting with them, and it's liberating almost. It's almost like I have this big thing that I keep thinking about, and once you think about what's been good, like sometimes I even just close my eyes and think about the dinners that we had and try to remember all the little details. And it helps me to see the bright side of things, that it happened and it will happen again.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And how about you, Isa? Because your situation, between the three of us, your situation is the most different one because you spend you spend Christmas with your boyfriend's family, so you kind of have that kind of feeling, and then you go to see your family afterwards. But you probably have your own challenges of this time of the year. Then how do you overcome those challenges?
Yes, I think like more if I address the question from coaching perspective as well, I think it's important first have awareness of the feelings and wherever you are feeling the moment, if you're sad because you cannot be there, or if you are feel expectations as you were saying, like you feel that social pressure that you need to have a plan. I think like getting aware of those feelings is really important, and also trying to think what home means for you, because for everybody it's different. So it might be something you can smell, it might be something that you cook and that it reminds you home, it might be the people. So as Sarah was saying, you might find somebody else in the same situation that maybe wants to do those Christmas activities with you, or that shares the same traditions as well. I used to have friends from Argentina, from Uruguay here, and so whenever I was missing home, I could have a little of home with them. And so I think it's important to know what home means for you and try to get those activities or those things that can bring you that little bit of home to you. And then, like as you were saying, like now Amazon really helps. But one thing important for me, one of the years I was not with my family, was actually to send them something. So I actually made my friend buy some gifts and put them in my granny's tree without them knowing. So whenever they open all the present, there was something there that said from Ireland. um, so yeah, nowadays I think those things are easier, and it's good that if you know that that's something that is missing for you, and expressing your love for them, then it's something you can do. So I think the most important thing is to be aware of what is that you are missing, and try to get it in. Be creative in the way you can get it.
Absolutely. I used to have a friend in New Zealand that was from Ireland, and every Christmas, his family was sending a package over to New Zealand with just chips. They were like some kind of flavored chips that you can only find in Ireland. And that was his Christmas present, was just like these chips that they were reminding me of his home country, but like reminding me of the Ireland. That was pretty funny.
Yes, but you know, those little things that will make you feel at home. And for me, it would be like people that comes to here, they bring me dulce de leche or sometimes, or yerba mate, that is what we drink. And it's kind of that feeling of being home a bit, even if you are not there, it might bring you home here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to go back to what Zara mentioned earlier about the connection, creating connection and just going through groups and like a social apps and that kind of stuff to trying to recreate or having like this kind of human connection. I just want to touch that topic again, just because I think it's very important. And it's important for me to give the tools for the listeners. They are in the same situation, and maybe they don't have anybody around. They don't know what to do for Christmas. And I just want to do like a shout out to Internations, which Zara introduced me to. And it's a great app. Yeah, it's a pretty great platform, and it's completely free. And that's actually what I'm going to do for Christmas. They create like, there's all these like social events, and there's probably, I don't know exactly where, I don't know, the listener are watching right now, watch part of the world, but probably they're doing the same thing everywhere. And there's a Christmas event. So on Christmas Eve, I'm gonna do like these events. And for me, it's a great way to socialize and not being alone for Christmas. So my mom is happy that I'm not alone for
Yes.
Christmas. So yeah, I want to just to give like a shout out to International, because I joined this year and it's been absolutely amazing. Just the connection and the friends that you make is so much easy, and that's what we do, what we need when we are abroad. That we're trying to create our second family, because I think more than anything, when we need abroad to have a good experience is connection. Having like this circle of friends or circle of people around you that makes that the place where you live special, or you make feel like home, because there's no place like home if you don't have any people around you that make you feel home. I just want to ask you again for you guys. I know Zara, you introduced me to Internation, but you have any other platform, any other way for you to recommend how to make new friends, or how to do or find events for Christmas or other, I don't know, time of the year?
Yeah, I typically go to Facebook a lot for that, and I use Facebook groups. So I search Facebook groups by my hobbies, so things that I'm interested in, and just hoping that in that group somewhere there might be people who are like me all over the world. And then we also connect on the level of the hobbies, so we have something to common to talk about right away, and it also allows me to find people through that. And then also just going to Facebook and looking for like some immigrant or expat groups. That's been pretty great. There's special groups, like I know Toronto has a special group just for people who are in Toronto, so you can meet with them in person. But even though there were some groups where when we couldn't meet in person, we still did a call, and it allows you to spend a couple of times with other people and get out of your shell a little bit and talk to someone different from a different country. And what's interesting actually on that call, we had people from 15 countries, so it was like a big one, and we were all going through the same things. What was interesting is that even though we're all from different nationalities, different countries, we ended up having the same challenges. So it also just brings you this knowing that, no matter where you are, no matter what your background is when it comes to this sort of traditional gatherings or traditional festivities. We will go through the same challenges if we're away from the family.
Hmm. And no matter the age, I even through the international, I met people with old ages from like my age or even younger, from 25 to I think the oldest probably was 65. And we have the same challenges as you mentioned, especially if you're single or maybe not having your family around. It's this time of the year is so challenging. That's why I wanted to have this live session with you guys to tell other people that's normal. If you are going through this on your by yourself, it's normal, and it's we're all going through the same kind of thing. So that's why I wanted to like do this together and just put it out there for the people to watch later on or even right now live. How about you, Isabel? You have any apps or platform or way to connect, to interact, or meet new people?
I actually use Facebook groups as well. That's how we met actually with Sarah. So that's funny. Yeah, so I would look for people with same interested. Or when I came, I used to look. You can look, for example, I don't know, Uruguayans in Dublin or Spanish in Dublin if you want to something closer to your culture. So that's really popular here. And I think another way is, as you were saying, like just talking and making it a bit more normal, because sometimes we are so ashamed of like, oh, saying I don't have any Christmas plan, that we don't say it, and the other person might be exactly in the same situation. So making it normal, and as Sarah was saying, like that brings you community as well, because you kind of find people that is going through the same things, the same challenges, and that makes you feel belonging, which is actually the feeling that gives home. So that's really a good way of going through these challenges, just knowing that there is more people that is going through the same.
Yeah, you brought up like a good point to be like open and how you say how do you say open, like to like, be tell other people that maybe you don't have plans for Christmas. They'd be like vulnerable. That's the word I was looking
That's
for.
perfect.
To tell maybe I even say like honestly, I don't have any friends. I've been here for 2 years or 6 months or whatever. I don't have any friends, and it's surprising to see how many people are in the same situation. And maybe they don't tell you. You don't find out until you are the person that that's the first step to say like, yeah, I don't have any friends, right? It's so interesting to see how many people are in the exact same situation, especially through now the time we're going through with COVID and all of that stuff. It's
Yes,
so
perfect.
surprising.
Especially now after COVID, that a lot of people left, especially when they were not from, when they were immigrants, a lot of people came back to their homes. So it might be like you don't have friends. So it's totally something pretty common nowadays. So yes, like I think it's a good idea as well, being open about it and like not that ashamed, because there is nothing to be ashamed of. It's just your situation at the moment.
Exactly, absolutely. I agree 100% with what you just said. Okay, I think we got like 5 people watching right now live. Do you guys have any questions that are watching or the challenges you guys going through? Do you want to add something to the conversation we just had? Uh, Please go ahead and like, I don't know, leave in the comments. I'm not super used to Instagram Live. This is the first time I do it myself. So if you post comments, I haven't seen them yet, so I apologize. But if not, just if you want to add something to the conversation and leave a comment, even just to say hi. And otherwise, we could just wrap this up and wish everybody Merry Christmas. And if you guys want to reach out, you can reach out to me via, like, I don't know, DM me if you want to talk more about it, or if you, I don't know, have questions, or if you want to do this. Maybe you are not watching this, not live. If you have any question for probably all of us, I can talk to for you guys, but I think we are all open to DM us or send them a message or whatever if you have any questions later on. So
Yeah.
anything else you guys want to add?
Before we wrap up, I would just like to add one more thing that, even though you're by yourself alone, there might be the beauty in that too, right? There might be the beauty of enjoying your own company and taking the break from everyone and everything, the work and the hustle, And maybe just taking some time to enjoy reading a book or doing things that you wanted to do all this year, but you didn't get to doing them, um, or treating yourself with a beautiful meal or whatever it is for you, right? There might be something in there that you might want to explore, taking a break from everything and just honoring yourself that one day.
Absolutely. And we actually have
Yeah.
a comment from Ricky Judge. It says, I feel there are a lot of pressure this time of the year. That's exactly what we were talking about, just the pressure, even not just Christmas. I think for me, there's even more pressure on New Year's Eve. You have to do something special. You need to do something. Christmas can be with your family, can be more intimate, but it seems like New Year's Eve, it's probably add even more social pressure that you have to do something special. You have to celebrate. You have to do a party. You have to do something crazy. Probably Ricky Judge is like, it's probably feel like the same way about like the pressure. Probably, I don't know if he's talking about just the pressure we're talking about the family or just social pressure in general, but absolutely, he nailed it. Absolutely, there's so much pressure this time of the year. Okay, I don't think we have anything else. Isa, do you want to add anything else?
No, I think what Sarah adds is really a good point, actually. If you are spending alone, it might be a good moment to actually just be alone and do something that you would like. I have a friend that she actually told me she might spend New Year's Eve alone. And she was like, I think I will get, she's French, so I will get a good wine and some foie gras and be with my cat watching a movie. And I was like, oh my God, that actually sounds a good plan. Because sometimes you don't have the chance, you know. So yeah, like that can be something as well. Like if you are alone, use that time as well to be alone, and maybe take it to read the book that you have been procrastinating the whole year, or do some journaling, which I found really good in especially this time of the year that you are more inside. So yes, that's a great point actually.
Mm-hmm. I want to add something about being alone this time of the year, celebrating alone. Because I was talking with somebody, one of the internationals event, and he was telling me that every time, every Christmas, I think for Christmas time, he just go to a hotel by himself. And once he was asking the receptionist, like, is this like weird that I book for like the whole week but just by myself, just spend the time here by myself in the hotel? Like I have no idea how many people are in the same situation. Like how many people are coming here alone for Christmas because they don't have anything else to do. So going back to what you just earlier you said about be vulnerable, talk about these things. Like it's crazy how many people are in the same situation. Don't feel the pressure to you have to do something because there are so other many people that they maybe don't care or maybe they just are in the same situation. So there's absolutely no pressure, even if there is, but trying to remove the pressure that you don't have to do something, at least for me, you don't have to do something special. It can be just reading a book or journaling or just take some time for yourself, and could be a good celebration, a good start of the new year or closing the 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel we all have that idea that is so shameful to be alone. And I remember even like 2 years ago, before the pandemic, I started to do some solo trips around Europe. And at the beginning, I was actually ashamed to go to a night restaurant by myself. I was thinking like, oh, everybody might be looking at me and thinking like, poor girl, she's alone. But I think it's something really interesting to challenge, because the more you do it, the more you're used to do it and the less uncomfortable it feels. So it's something good as well if you want to take the challenge to say like, okay, I will do this alone, even if it's uncomfortable, and book this hotel or this fancy dinner just for myself. And yes, and try. The more you do it, the less uncomfortable it will feel, and it's just like a gift to yourself as well. So.
Oh,
I like
absolutely.
that. Giving a gift to yourself for Christmas. That's great. I love that.
Sweet. I think this could be a good time to wrap this up. I don't see any other new comments, so I think we can have this like as to a closure. Thank you very much, Zara and Isa, to like join me into like this special live event for Christmas. I hope we can, I don't know, provide any help or any insights to other people watching either live or later on. So thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you happy Christmas and happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sweet. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.